Hello and welcome to another episode of Not Too Deep. I'm your host, Grace Helbig. I'm very excited. Today we have Jameela with us. You know her from The Good Place. You know her from her activism. You know her from her Twitter account. You know that she's incredible. We had such great conversation about body positivity, her dealing with the world in general. Also, she had kidney stones the whole time that she was here, and she is such a goddamn champion. It was so lovely having her. Enjoy this episode of Not Too Deep with Jameela.
Not too deep, not too deep with Grace Helbig.
Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Amidst all of the adversity that is constantly trying to kibosh this, I'm curious in talking about Twitter. You have an interesting relationship with it.
Oh, we're going straight in with Twitter.
Well,
no, dude, I have such a strange relationship with Twitter.
I do too, and I've fallen off from using Twitter so much in the last year or so but I still look at it constantly. I still look at it for information. I look at it for news. Mm-hmm. But I'm very impressed by your ability to be so candid on Twitter, and I wonder how that's changed or grown in the last few months or a year?
I don't know. I don't think I have grown.
Okay.
I think I just I have mixed results on Twitter. Overwhelmingly, I think it's been a positive impact I've had. And you got to admit, there's way less diet teas and shit detoxes being sold.
I know.
On social media.
It's
Our
great.
faves have stopped peddling laxatives to us as much. I've made it globally embarrassing.
But talk me through that moment of you deciding that you're actually going to post something against this kind of wave of, superficial products being pushed on everyone.
I started 8 years ago when I got fat shamed back in England because I used to be a TV host there.
Yeah.
And so I was currently on the radio at the time, and people became obsessed with my weight. And I was like, I'm on the fucking radio? You can't even see me. What do you why do you need to just know I'm thin over the airwaves? It wasn't even filmed.
Wow.
So anyway, I've been talking about this for years, but the diet and detox tea thing wasn't mainstream until 2018.
Right.
Suddenly it became mainstream
Everywhere.
and it became acceptable and it became part of quote unquote wellness culture.
Ugh.
And so I think it was a Kim K post that I saw where she was pushing appetite suppressant lollipops, and the advertising was all, targeted towards young girls, and it was pink, and everything about it just offended me. And so I didn't have a very big following, and I did tell her to fuck off, which was a bit it was a little bit abrasive. I question my abrasive language, but I don't question what I did.
Yeah, in retrospect, sure. The choice of language could have been different, but I think the intention behind the message is valuable.
Absolutely. But look, so while I do good on Twitter, and I think that I help to make women feel seen and different people feel seen, or I think that I'm able to make people feel less alone in their own mistakes because I've made so many of my own and I'm so open about them. I also know that I fuck up sometimes, and that just comes from the fact that I am ignorant, and I'm always going to be ignorant a bit, and I'm always going to be trying to undo that and trying to learn. And I just wish that I would think before I tweet more often. But I guess since I had a nervous breakdown when I was younger, and since then I kind of made a deal with myself that if I was going to stay on this earth and not kill myself, I was just going to be honest all the time about everything that I thought.
I think that's very refreshing, especially when it comes from a place you can tell with you that your intentions are good, that your message means well, and you have no intention of trying to hurt or belittle any sort of, or marginalize any sort of group, that you're really about inclusivity, and that resonates.
But I'm also a comedian and a fucking idiot sometimes, so it's all having all the passion and the good intention and having a comedic mind and being a fucking idiot as a cocktail is a nightmare.
But the nightmare, but also I find it so enjoyable because I'm like, this is a real human woman. Like,
Yeah, well, that's just it. That's what it is. It's just like, you know what? Men get away with shit all the time.
Yeah.
They say whatever they want. They do whatever they want. They beat whoever fuck they want up. And we just let them, we just let them get on. Whereas with women, we have put this pressure on women just to feel as though we have to be at all times omniscient, all nurturing, all forgiving and perfect.
Yeah.
And I don't subscribe to that. I believe in the sort of Natalie Portman theory of fuck up and thrive.
yeah.
And so I believe in being allowed to be fallible. I believe in being allowed to make mistakes. I don't believe in being embarrassed about ignorance if you're doing everything you can in your power to undo it. And
And sometimes that's the best example.
I like being unfiltered, especially as a brown woman. I feel like it's really important that young people see that you're allowed to say whatever shit comes into your head sometimes. Obviously, don't be a bigot or an arsehole.
Sure.
But I think that we just need to be able to get everything off our chest. And also, women in particular, I think, are less practiced than men at saying
There's no
how we feel about things publicly.
And then when you're seeing a woman that is outspoken or does speak her mind, it's like blanketed in this negativity from people that like it's too much.
Oh, yeah. I get called a bit much all the time. And I fucking am. But if there was a cool way to master being able to change, to create like mass change, someone would have done it by now. Everyone who's ever created change has been fucking annoying at the time to everyone around them.
That's very true.
And so I am annoying, but I also I'm not really interested in popularity. I didn't get into this to make friends. I've got 12 friends. Like Jesus. I don't need any more friends. I don't need the internet to like me. I just need change to happen so that if I choose to have kids, they're not going to walk into this shit show that we are in.
That's really refreshing and nice to hear. Especially it's just a freeing sensation to just be authentically yourself, because in the position that you're in right now, I can see the pressures of it going either way, of like having to give messages that are super polished and very, like unrealistic in a way, or very conservative in a way. And it's nice to see you just ripping off Band-Aids and being like, fuck it, this is how I am, this is what I think, and I'm going to let you know and take it or leave it.
And I try stuff out.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just want to see where a conversation's going to go. I'm a maniac.
No,
I'll just tweet something divisive and just see what's going to happen.
Do you, when you wake up in the morning and you look at your phone, like we all do?
I just burped. I'm sorry. Did you hear that? Because I think I heard it in the headphones.
I didn't hear it, but congratulations. Your body is processing a lot of things right now. When you wake up in the morning and you look at your phone for the first time, what's the first thing you do on it? Do you go to Twitter? Do you check Instagram? Do you not look at your phone first thing in the morning?
I think I do look at my phone first thing in the morning, and I normally check Twitter Moments.
Yeah.
Because that's my news source.
Same. Yeah, I do the exact same thing.
I'm a Neanderthal.
I
did want to say something, though, about outspoken women. Or not even just outspoken women. I wanted to know your take on this. We have a cycle.
Yeah.
Like a cycle, a lifeline for women of about 1.5 to 2 years of popularity. Have you noticed with everyone across the board that unless a woman disappears into obscurity, she will be dragged to within an inch of her life? And it doesn't have to be someone outspoken like myself or someone who challenges the monarchy like Meghan Markle. It could also just be Anne Hathaway, who made a couple of speeches that people didn't like, and she was torn a new arsehole by the internet. She was kind of the first ridiculous cancellation that we really saw.
Yeah.
And then Jennifer Lawrence, everyone was like, she's so funny and relatable. Oh my God, she's just like us. And then 1.5 years later,
it morphs.
Why is she trying to be so funny and relatable all the time? She's not like us. She's faking falling over. And the vitriol and the hatred towards her was so interesting. And so when I was on my come up, like over the last 2 years, and I started seeing articles like, she's the feminist hero we need. I was like, oh no.
Because
this is exactly what you don't fucking want.
This
you don't
is the
want
narrative you can't control.
Yeah, you get put on this pedestal that you haven't climbed up onto yourself.
Right.
And you get hyper overexposed. And then you are at such a height that is perfect for being kicked off of and falling all the way down. So thankfully for me, I don't take any of this shit personally. As soon as I was on the come up, I was like, well, this is going to be
Here we go.
fucking brutal when this ends. But I was always ready for it. So that's why I've never altered my behavior. I still speak like a sort of inmate on the loose.
But the fact that you've even thought about that, the fact that you've kind of pinpointed that theory and that ideology of
the lifeline
of a
popular woman.
Right. That you've had... I think a lot of people get surprised by it because they haven't thought in those terms before, like seeing it almost from the outside and knowing. And then when it's like bestowed upon you, you know exactly what this is.
I'm not crazy though. That's right.
No,
Isn't
you're
it?
not
Exists.
crazy. I think
Nicki Minaj, like
I think you're just a social noticer. I think you've watched and like because your background, right? You've been in radio. You've talked about pop culture. I was
a journalist when I was younger.
Right.
Yeah.
You've written in magazines. So I think you have an innate ability to see social trends, to see how like the hive mind works in a way, which is really valuable and I think helpful for you to keep that that like ability to distance yourself and not take on all of the hate that you might be getting.
Didn't take on any of the love either. When the love was coming at me, I was just like, no, it's not real. And
It's
so
not
when the
gonna
hate
last.
comes in, it's the same thing. It's just like, it's all...
Well, I think you're grounded. I think that grounds you in a sense that you see yourself as a real person. You have humility to yourself. You don't take yourself so seriously, but that doesn't take away from your passion about ideas and thoughts and messages.
Yeah.
And I think that you can't teach that. So kudos to you for developing that over time.
I'm messy and I embrace my own mess.
But I think that's the message to young women that is so valuable. Because when I was growing up, I mean, I read that you were very shy growing up, and I was too. And I was very insular and very afraid of like social situations and that sort of thing. And I didn't have anyone to idolize that was messy, that was like still quote unquote thriving.
Perfect.
Everyone was perfect. It was also, I grew up pre-internet, like internet was just developing.
Same. How old are you?
I'm 34.
Same.
Okay. Yeah. So it was the same kind of timeline of as it develops and you have more accessibility to see people's real lives and for celebrities to access, the real world more directly, then you start to see all of these like fallible things about people, for better or worse, if that like resonates with you in some way. I feel awful for the limelight that gets thrust on you as soon as you start speaking your mind about something that now you are the champion activist for all women.
But they do, I know, it's just so ridiculous. But also I think the takedown with outspoken women like Tarana Burke or myself or any activist like Greta Thunberg, I think that is mostly to send a message to other women around the world of like, don't speak out.
It's a control thing.
Yeah, don't speak out because we'll go and we'll humiliate you. We'll write smear campaigns against you. Like I have crazy rumors about me on the fucking internet. My family get dragged into that shit. Like there are pictures of my disabled family members with them being ridiculed and like all over the internet because they'll do anything at any cost to shut me up because I speak effectively about an industry that's worth billions of dollars, the diet industry that funds the media industry. And I also talk a lot about abortion. I'm pro-choice. And this is a big year for us making sure that we maintain women's rights in the United States. And so they want to shut anyone who's, Greta threatens the oil industry and the plastic industry. So, so they try to tear you apart to make you an example for other women.
Yeah, that's like, don't even try.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And so I guess that's kind of why I just feel that it is my duty to continue.
Well, good, because I feel like the amount
be a fucking nightmare.
But that makes me so happy to hear in a way because a lot of people would, bend to all of that pressure and bend to all of that hate and bend to all of that, like, negativity put on you to shut you up. And instead, your ability to kind of look at it humorously, because I've been making stuff on the internet for 12 years now. And so every possible terrible thing has been said in a comment somewhere about me. And affects you on certain days, and some days it's easier to look at it and realize like, oh, hurt people. Like this is coming from a place of insecurity or negativity or something like that. And I can distance myself from that and look at this like, it's really funny that this angry man took this time to Photoshop this image like this. Like, and then when I imagine them sitting in their computer in the dark, like doing crude Photoshop, I'm like, that's just purely ridiculous. So I can't take offense to this because like you clearly have some other deeper shit going on that I can't fix for you.
I used to troll celebrities when I was younger.
Did you?
Yeah, totally. I was fucking already like famous as well. Like I was like a teenager in the dark. I was 22 and I used to talk shit about people all the time.
Sure.
Miley Cyrus, Drake, Rihanna, like even the Queen herself, Beyonce. I used to talk shit about people all the time because I was mentally ill.
Yeah.
I was unwell. I was
sad.
I was
angry.
Sad. I was angry. I was overcoming trauma. And, you would look at these incredibly privileged people and just think, well, they're not going to read this.
Right. No,
they're not going to see my article, my stupid hot take on their music video. Like, and then you get here and you meet them in person and
like,
you realize, oh my God, you're a real human being with real feelings and you see it all. And now that I am the victim of like similar trolling stuff, like I just think I fucking deserve it.
The karma comes back.
Man, that's my fucking karma. I deserve this shit.
As long as you're learning.
I remember what headspace I was in.
Yeah.
And so I know what it's like just to be angry and to have nowhere to direct it. So you direct it where you think it's not actually going to hurt anyone.
Right.
But it does fucking hurt people.
It piles on to the situation. Yeah. But that's kudos for you for recognizing that and admitting that, because I think a lot of the people that still struggle with shitting on people, it's because they haven't recognized or like admitted that they're sad or they're in a bad place.
I know that we're not supposed to get too deep.
It's whatever.
But to get incredibly real, one of the things that I used to do is I didn't know what slut shaming was. I thought slut shaming when I was younger was just saying a woman couldn't have as much sex as a man. Whereas I've always thought women should have as much sex as they possibly can with as many people as they can. But I used to be quite slut shamey about like the way that I would discuss women who would always be very nude in their videos and the men would be fully clothed. And I didn't know how to perfectly articulate my feeling. And my feeling was really just, why are the women always doing it and the men get to wear fully clothed? Why am I not seeing some balls? I want to see some balls. I want to see some shaft. I want pubes.
Equal opportunity nudity.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I've ever wanted. I just wanted some balls. But I articulated it also thinking I was being funny in this very slut-shamey way. And also I was hurt. I was angry with women who had sexualized themselves. Now, a year before I started speaking out about that sort of stuff, I'd been raped.
Okay.
And so there was something switched on in me where after that happened, where I lost control of myself. I started to feel so mad at women who I would see sexualizing themselves, and I started to blame them for the reason that I was so heavily sexualized by men, even if I wasn't projecting anything sexual.
Right.
That they'd whipped men into a frenzy to think that we're all just like hoping for sex all the time, or we are all just sexual objects and nothing more. That was completely unfair of me.
Yeah.
I was just young, ignorant, traumatized, and that's how it came out. And so I think we're gonna see so much trauma play out on the internet in the next 4 months.
Oh, that's because now the state of the world, everyone in their quarantine has nothing to do but face themselves and have access to the internet.
And they're also losing their jobs and they're potentially not going to be able to put their kids through college, or they're going to lose their homes. Like people I know can't even make rent right now. They can't pay for their health insurance. It's like the global rage pandemic is the next one that's coming straight after Corona. People are going to be so angry.
There's going to be a lot. That's what I was worried about yesterday. I was talking to some friends and just like the scope of the affecting everyone's mental health. I'm very curious about and a little scared for.
It's going to be like the fucking purge.
Yeah. turn away.
And completely understandably, because
Yeah.
they've been so many people were failed by their governments.
Right.
And so Twitter's going to be a really dangerous place, I think, over the next couple of months. And people have been tweeting me being like, "You're being awful quiet right now," and I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'm just fucking."
I'm a human dealing with my reaction to what's happening in the world.
But
right
also,
now.
I'm not stupid. Like, this is an inflammatory time where if you get on the wrong side of people, as we've seen a couple of people in privilege do this week.
Yeah, there's been a lot of, even the Imagine video that went up yesterday.
The Vanessa Hudgens thing.
Which also blew my mind because that was post that was live streamed and then apologized for all within the scope of like 3 hours.
Yeah.
So that was like every major celebrity's publicist is like at home being like, "Oh no, don't go live. Don't go live. You don't have a script. And how do we control what your message is to everyone?"
But it's just like, I'm just going to observe
I think that's
because
good.
right now this is a very emotional time for people.
Well, you've also been doing in parallel with, the
Activism, hairy stuff.
Yeah, well, handling, I mean, you have a new podcast coming out, and this episode will go up before your new podcast comes out. Can you tell us, like, the scope of the podcast?
So 2 years ago, I started a movement called I Weigh, and it was weirdly a movement that I started accidentally in defense of the Kardashians. What's happened to our relationship since is a surprise to me.
What a dance you guys have been doing.
I saw this picture of them, all the whole family, all the women of the family, with numbers written across their body, and the numbers weren't how much money they've earned or what they've achieved. It was just how much they weigh. And once I clicked on that one picture, because the algorithm suddenly thousands more pictures started to turn up on my Explore page on Instagram of Selena Gomez, how much she weighs, Taylor Swift, how much she weighs. There's probably a picture of you and how much you weigh.
Right.
I found a picture of me and my fake weight.
Oh, God.
And so I tried to find pictures of men that had the same numbers written across their bodies, and I couldn't. If you're not a UFC fighter, no one cares about how much you weigh. No one cares.
Yeah.
So I one day tweeted what I weigh out into the world. I was like, I weigh my financial independence, my orgasms, my friendships, my activism, whatever. And it started a movement that I thought would last about 3 weeks, like the ice bucket challenge. And now 2 years later, we have 1 million followers on Instagram.
Wow.
And it's completely global and recognized by the royal family in the UK and the government. And we're changing global policies, and we're starting to work on bills to change actual legislation to protect young people from things like diet products and Photoshop and height and weight discrimination. But the Instagram account is only so much. There's only so much I can get out there. So I've decided to expand the Instagram account into a YouTube channel, which is launching in a couple of weeks.
Great.
God help me. And I know. And a podcast. And so it's the I Weigh podcast that we're starting.
That's great.
Imminently. And it's got people like Roxanne Gay and Gloria Steinem and
Amazing.
Neil Brennan. My friend.
That's so cool.
Yeah, Aisling B. So it's just full of funny and smart and inspiring people.
That's great. And it also must be nice for you because, on social media, we have to curate our messages within such a capacity that to be able to just speak uneditedly and ask questions freely on something like a podcast must be a really nice platform.
Well, yeah. And also it's basically a mental health podcast. People think that I Weigh is a body positive movement because of its beginnings, but really it's just become a mass mental health movement. And
that's great.
We talk about LGBTQ and disability and all kinds of different things and race. And so my being able to talk about shame and mental illness with all these inspiring people is just going to teach me because I'm fucking ignorant and I need to learn. And so if I'm going to learn, I think it's selfish to do it privately so I can just come out and impress everyone with how intelligent I am. I'd rather learn with everyone else and we can all, herd education.
I think that's great. You're including everyone in the educational process of it all.
Yeah.
I think that's wonderful. How have the episodes been going so far?
Good. I mean, look, I don't listen to any podcasts because I haven't had any time for
you've been busy.
years. I've been on podcasts, I've not listened to them. So I don't actually know if it's any good. I've enjoyed doing it, but I have nothing to compare it to.
Okay.
And so I hope it's going to be good. I've enjoyed the chats. I learned a lot.
Good.
So if this was just my own personal hobby, then that's okay.
Okay, good.
But some of them have been incredibly moving.
That's
and
great.
I like it.
Good.
So-
And that's all that matters because
Yeah.
that resonates. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we have more Not Too Deep. We'll be right back.
Not too deep with Grace Helbig.
Obviously, we all know that life is stressful and difficult, and we could all use some help sometimes, but we may not know how or where to ask for it. And that's where BetterHelp comes in. Their online counseling offers licensed counselors who specialize in issues including depression and anxiety, as well as complicated relationships, family relationships, sleeping, grief, stress, trauma, and anger. You can schedule secure video or phone sessions with your therapist, plus securely exchange unlimited messages. Simply fill out a questionnaire to help them assess your needs, get matched with a counselor, and start communicating in under 24 hours. And if for any reason you are unhappy with your counselor, you can easily request a new therapist at any time for no additional charge. Get professional help when you want it, wherever it's most convenient. And Not Too Deep with Grace Helbig listeners will get 10% off their first month with discount code GRACE. That's betterhelp.com/grace. Why not get help? betterhelp.com/grace. You and your boyfriend are adorable. You're very
Thanks.
sweet. And you tweeted out something that resonated with me hard the other day about during this quarantine, you have to really like the person that
Yeah.
you're with, not just love.
Mhm.
And I was like, this is very true. Like, I love my boyfriend, but I also like him a lot. And that makes this situation a lot easier to deal with.
Oh, it's going to be like the Hunger Games. It's going to be awful. There's going to be such a big divorce boom at the end of this.
Oh, that's what I said the day 2 into quarantine. I was like, do you know how many people are breaking up right now because they literally can't deal with the other person that they're with right now?
Yeah.
It's fascinating. So how did you guys meet each other? You've been together 5 years?
We were both DJs.
You were both DJs.
We were both DJs, and we met at BBC Radio 1 in the live lounge and became friends. And then I was just about to move to Los Angeles, and I was telling him that, and he was like, no way. I'm also moving to Los Angeles
Wow.
in February. And I was like, wow, that's so crazy.
Uh-huh.
And I only found out about 6 months later that was a lie. He'd
Really?
never intended on moving to Los Angeles. He just panicked and said whatever he had to say so that I
Wow.
would keep hanging out with him. And then when I moved, he moved over with me.
Really?
Yeah. And never left.
And you moved in together when you moved over
Yep.
here? Wow.
Pretty much.
What a love story.
Yeah. We hung out. We were just living in each other's pockets. And so, yeah, that was it. He was living in Rick Rubin's studio.
Cool.
And so I went and stayed there with him, and then we fell in love.
That's amazing.
But we are best friends, and we started as best friends.
You can tell that you guys are buds. Like,
Yeah.
that's really sweet to see that. And it makes sense that you started out as friends first and then like love developed.
It was like that feeling, you know, when you meet someone at school and you're like, oh, we're gonna have lunch together every day. You know,
You're one of my people.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's that feeling of relief.
Uh-huh.
That's the feeling I got when I
Wow.
met him. And so it's just I'm stuck indoors with my best bud,
What a tragedy.
and he's got Fortnite and I've got Wi-Fi. It's great.
Yeah, how's it been? Have you guys developed a situation? Do you any code words of like needing space?
No, this is how we live anyway. Like we're both
You're like,
two.
nothing's
we're
changed.
English introverts. Like this is quarantine is just a weekend. It's an
Right,
extended
right.
weekend.
You've been prepping for this unintentionally for years.
my whole life.
Yeah.
So no, we are fine, and you know we really like each other.
Oh, that's great.
It'd be really funny if at the end of this one of us is murdered.
Yeah, they're just about to cut out a big section of this podcast when it goes
Yeah.
up. How's it been? Because you guys have been together through this whole like trajectory that you've had. How has that been for the relationship?
Fine. I mean, he's just super supportive,
That's
and he's
great.
really got my back, and he's been learning a lot. I guess he has been learning to understand his own privilege and understand how to be an ally and learn about other experiences and read different books by writers that he hadn't yet read before. And so
That's great.
I think it's just been fun, and we've both been learning together. And I think he finds it more painful than I do when the internet tries to tear me a new asshole. But he started to learn that I really don't give a fuck.
Oh, but
And
that's
so-
nice for him to be so supportive.
Oh, he's so sweet. He's like going through all of the comments, like, triggering himself.
just working himself up into a frenzy.
Yeah. But no, he's a great ally, and I think we just have each other's backs, and it's been a crazy couple of years for both of our careers, and it's really great to go through this as with a witness to your life.
That must be so anchoring in a way to have that person that you've met before, everything kind of started to steamroll, and then for him to still be there and supportive is really sweet. Take us through you didn't do much acting before.
Zero acting.
Zero.
Yeah.
So take us through how did it happen? How did acting happen for you then?
I did not have sex with anyone, if that's what you're asking.
Not
me.
at all. That didn't even cross my mind.
I'm the only person who would fuck my way to the bottom. I was signed as a writer to 3 Arts. 3 Arts were making The Good Place. They needed an overly tall, annoying English Indian. And there I was.
You went through your list of characteristics and were like, yes,
I was like,
yes.
yeah, tick, tick, tick. And so they sent me for the audition. I didn't think I should go because I don't have any acting experience. And I heard Ted Danson was in it. And I was like, this is not
That's
acceptable.
overwhelming.
It's unacceptable. But they emotionally blackmailed me into going. And so I was like, fuck it, I'll get to meet Mike Schur. I went.
Yeah.
I had to audition with Mike.
Wow.
For 15 minutes.
Wow.
And he was like, you can do improv, right? And I did a kind of Fanny Bryce, can I do improv? And I had to improv with the great and iconic Mike Schur for about 10 to 15 minutes in order to get that role.
Not intimidating at all.
Just terrifying.
Wow.
And he was so great and supportive and wonderful, and that maintained for the whole time on The Good Place. But I don't know why he gave me that job. There were women who were much more famous and interesting and talented up for that role who would have been way less messy on Twitter. But I got it, and I just did my best to keep up.
Amazing. I mean, once you're in that whirlwind, I'm sure it's hard to see from the outside how everything is going.
Oh, yeah.
It's been crazy for you guys. It's just ended. So how has the trajectory been? Have you had a second to reflect on all of it? Or is it just everything?
No, it's all bullshit, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm very lucky for the things that I have and the things that I get to do, but none of this means anything. And I've had chronic health conditions since I was a kid. And I think that there's something about that sets your perspective differently to other people, where really just basic health, no matter what award I'm winning or what party I get to go to, I still wake up in pain every day. I still go to bed every night in pain and swollen. So my gauge of what happiness or success or good things are relies mostly on my health and my mental health.
Wow. So you can
I'm
separate.
kind of
Yeah.
It's fine, but it's also just an industry that's full of a lot of very strange people. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
do.
Jesus Christ.
It's I'm a fellow introvert. So you're going out to parties and award shows and things like that. I'm like, God bless you. I don't know. Those situations.
Where there's a 2-hour queue for the red carpet.
Oh, yeah. Have you had are there any standout party stories or situations that you've been in?
There's one. I talked about it, I think, on a chat show, but
Okay.
I went to the big Oscar party, the UTA Oscar party. I'm with UTA, and so I was allowed to be there.
I'm with
This is
company.
pre The Good Place, so no one knew who I was. Everyone just thought I was an overconfident cleaner. And I was sort of walking up to A-list celebrities trying to just start small talk. They'd sort of hand me a glass or hand me their empty plate. So after a while, I just sort of fucked off to the buffet, which is always where you have to go as an introvert, and just eat your feelings.
Yeah.
And I saw loads of delicious steaks. I had one. It was one of the best steaks I'd ever had. Went back. And I was like, you know what? I have no money. I'm going to put these in my freezer. So I piled 10 steaks, one on top of the other, on top of the other, on top of the other. I was standing in a queue. I had Gwyneth Paltrow in front of me, Edward Norton behind me. And Gwyneth turned around at one point and looked at me, and I was just like, Atkins. And then she gave me a beam of such approval.
Really?
And just turned back around and went about her day. So I then took the steaks into the garden and I just flipped them over into a cloth napkin, bound up the napkin.
Wow.
Because the steaks were bloody, so it just sort of like creates a glue.
Yeah.
And then I shoved the steak mound under my skirt in between my thighs and just started to slowly waddle on my way out of the party. And I was waddling so fast and so nervously because I could feel the blood starting to drip down my inner thigh. So it looked like I'd come on the worst period of my life. And I accidentally knocked over Al Pacino. And then the steak sort of like flew out from under my legs across the floor with this blood streak across the floor.
Oh my
God.
God.
I went and just grabbed the steaks, didn't even address Al, grabbed the steaks, got up and ran out of the party and then texted the people who'd taken me just saying, hey, guys, sorry, I had to run home. There was an emergency, but I hope they catch that weird guy who knocked over Al Pacino. And then on my way out, I bumped into the lead singer of Muse, who I used to know from being an interviewer back in England. And he was like, hey, do you want to come to this party with me? It's like Leonardo DiCaprio and Rihanna are having a party. And I was like, I'd love to, but I've just been through so much to get these steaks. And I went home and ate them on my own.
Wow.
But they lasted like 2 weeks. I put them in the freezer because I'm not an idiot. And
that's an incredible life hack for people to know.
What steel party food, put it in the freezer.
If no one's eating them, they're just going to go in the garbage.
Oh, it's so devastating. And no one does eat them, especially at Hollywood parties, because everyone's been on a diet since the 80s.
Right. And everyone's wearing something so expensive that they even thought of getting dripped on in any way is insane. But that makes me very proud of you. Like that takes a lot of guts to follow through with that mission. I think I would have just canceled it at some point.
I know.
Probably the Al push.
There's almost nothing I wouldn't do for food.
Well, good for you. Look how far you've come. I hope nothing changes.
Well, I don't think it ever will. I think it's still the thing that rouses my interest the most. Any given supermarket, that's my happy place.
Oh, it's
the good
amazing.
place for me would be a giant supermarket.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a preference over UK supermarkets versus American supermarkets?
I think the candy in America is trash.
Really?
I'm sorry.
Wow.
And the chocolate is disgusting as well. Fucking disgusting.
Really?
Corn syrup is the devil.
Mm-hmm.
And it just tastes too sweet. The stuff here is too sweet.
Too sweet.
But candy aside, because I think England have got that. We've got that down. Our biscuits are perfect. We have nailed moderation of sugar. But I think I'm just into the American supermarket way.
Oh, yeah?
I'm totally into it. The aisles are bigger. There's more variety.
Everything.
It's so exciting. I don't think I've ever felt more fulfilled than I do walking around American supermarkets. It's like a theme park.
Oh, I mean, they're bringing back Supermarket Sweep. I feel like you'd be a great contestant for that show.
Oh my God, I want to host that show.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite game shows growing up as a kid that I'm just like, oh, I can't believe they're finally bringing it back. Yeah. It's way overdue.
If there's ever a time we needed it, it's now.
Yeah, please. Also great.
Also, it's looked like Supermarket Sweep. Like every fucking supermarket we've gone past.
Yeah, the other day I was like, yeah, this is like they took the 6 hams and the 6 turkeys. Everyone's taken their maximum amount of everything. Are you into Great British Baking Show?
No, I was on it once.
Okay, how was that?
That was bad. It was a bad day. I hated it.
I can't even. Baking to me is way out of my league. I know my limits. It's too precise. It's too scientific.
I think The Guardian maybe did the 10 worst moments of the Bake Off, and I was 4 of them.
Well, you should be proud of that.
I set fire to everything. My dessert was the first dessert in the history of the Bake Off deemed unsafe for Mary Berry to eat.
That's an amazing honor.
I had a full-on meltdown during that show. Like, it really pushes you, and you start. And I'd never baked before.
Oh, see,
I don't really know how much experience I'd had with an oven because I've always been more of a microwave gal. I make eggs in the microwave.
You make eggs in the microwave? Wait,
not now, but I did. I did for many years.
Okay,
which explains my brain.
That's great.
Yeah, you just. Oh, this is so disgusting. I'm so sorry. You put a little bit of olive oil in and you put the eggs in, you beat the eggs, and then you pop it in the microwave, 20 seconds, take it out, stir it around again, and you get really fluffy.
I mean, I believe you. I'm actually might go home and try this.
Yeah.
It's very curious.
It's probably deeply carcinogenic, but it's how I don't know.
Amazing.
How I survived my teens.
I feel like there's a cookbook on the horizon.
Yeah,
for
the world
you.
needs more of me.
Yeah. But what's next? A lot of people want to know what's next. I know you're working on the podcast. It's coming out.
I don't know. It's a fucking apocalypse. I don't know what the fuck is next. I guess what's next is we have all this great content coming out on YouTube that is just full of the most interesting and inspiring young activists and doctors and surgeons and therapists. And we're talking about sex and gender affirmation surgeries and mental health and the environment and everything. So I think that's really cool. That's coming out. And the podcast. And then I'm gonna see if I can write a book.
Good. It feels like the right time.
I just feel like I'm gonna get in so much trouble.
But at least you might have an editor that can help hone.
No one can curtail this. So I guess writing is something I want to do, and also the show that got me signed in America is a show that I want to start working on again to maybe write. Because
Amazing.
What else are we going to do?
Well, you came out here as a writer, right?
That's what I mean. So I think
Yeah.
I'm going to finally write, and
Great.
so try and take this moment to work out how I can service other people's needs and then also be creative myself.
That's great.
I haven't had very much time to be creative because
Yeah, you've been
activism
busy.
takes a fucking lot of time.
I can imagine. And it takes up so much brain space too, that the creative part of your brain has to kind of sit dormant for a second.
Well, yeah, and also you just feel responsible for so many different people and so many different problems, and there's just always more problems. And then once you speak out on one thing, other people want you to speak out on everything.
Yeah.
It just it's been very, very stressful
To manage all of that. Yeah.
And so,
Well, what do you do to de-stress? Like, what do you watch if you have time to watch things?
Oh, I just watched the best TV show on Netflix called Feel Good.
Oh,
it's so good.
I haven't started it.
It's
I scrolled through
exceptional.
it yesterday.
It's
really?
exceptional, perfect. I'm giving it a 10 out of 10.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the premise?
The premise is just a young female gay comedian getting into a relationship with a straight girl and just how they're mastering that relationship.
Wow.
It's by Mae Martin, and it's just that the performances are just stunning. Lisa Kudrow's in it.
Oh, awesome.
Which is incredible. And so I'm watching that. The Comeback, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Crashing by Phoebe Waller-Bridge, which is incredibly funny, but maybe only to Londoners.
Okay.
And rewatching Fleabag, rewatching episodes. I'm just going to fill my brain with other people's iconic content from the past.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been filling my brain with trash. I've been watching nothing but reality TV lately. And so I need
Love is Blind.
I went through that in like a day. I just started watching, I found out about this British dating show called 5 Guys a Week. And I went to London a couple weeks ago for my boyfriend's birthday and was so desperate to watch Love is Blind because we had started it before we left and they didn't have it in the UK on the servers over there, that I downloaded an IP scrambler for my computer that said that I was in America when I was over there so I could watch on Netflix. It was very desperate times. But
Great.
Now with that, I can get this British television now, and it's 5 guys a week. The premise is a woman invites 5 guys to sleep at her house for a week as she figures out which one she has a love connection with.
Oh my God, England.
But I will say that British reality television somehow handles this desperate dating scenario with more tact than American dating shows. So there's something more oh, I don't feel the desperation like seething off of these people right now. There's something a little bit more posh.
Everything's tongue in cheek with
and
us.
Everyone's very direct. Like people will say exactly what they're feeling in a way, and then these conversations get handled so quickly rather than these like passive aggressive comments that happen all the time,
right?
Like in conversations in American television.
Well, we despise positivity.
Yeah.
And tact.
Yeah.
And care.
But I appreciate how direct everyone is because of that. I'm like, wow, he just said exactly what he thinks, and she responded exactly how she thinks.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's great. But our TV, like the way that American people talk about our reality TV shows when they go over there. Like I think there was a show called maybe Naked Attraction, where you put people in booths.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have, I don't know, I've never seen it, but I've heard about it, like 10 or 12 booths, I think, around. And someone has to choose which person they want from all these different booths. And how it works is I believe a door comes up slowly but surely. So you're judging everyone based on their feet, then their knees.
You're seeing their actual body.
Then their genitals.
What?
So people can be disqualified just based on their genitals.
What?
So if someone doesn't have an attractive vagina or penis situation, then they can be rejected there and then like the thing has to lift and they have to walk away like completely naked.
So even if you reject someone, they continue to raise the thing all the way up so you see their face?
Yeah.
I will watch this. At least one episode.
I think I need to watch it because I'm so fascinated, but I also can't bear it.
It sounds so absurd.
Some people get rejected just off of their tits. Like,
oh, wow.
It's just a whole thing.
I can't believe that kind of show got made.
I know.
Wow.
It's really amazing.
So there's so many opportunities for creativity in the world still. Okay, we're going to take one last break. When we get back, I have a billion Twitter questions, some really good stuff for you. Your favorite place, with some questions from a lot of people. We'll be right back with more Not Too Deep.
Not too deep. With Grace Helbig.
Sports Research is your one-stop shop for a lifetime of performance, health, and wellness. They're the makers of the highest-rated collagen peptide product on Amazon and their flagship product, Sweet Sweat. Listen to this. Sweating helps burn calories, and Sweet Sweat, activated by your elevated heart rate, helps increase sweating during exercise. You apply the gel, which comes in a variety of pleasing scents, to slow-to-respond problem areas before your workout. For best results, you use Sweet Sweat in combination with Sports Research's best-selling waist trimmers like their new Neon Waist Trimmer collection. And did you know that collagen is vital to help support the health of your skin, your hair, your nails, and your connective tissues? I didn't, but that's why you should try Sports Research's third-party certified and non-GMO verified collagen peptides, which provide the best product at the best price. They're offered in a variety of flavors, so Sports Research collagen peptides can be added to coffee, to soup, to sauces, and more at home or on the go. This is all bonkers to me, but if you're interested, go try it because there's a special offer. If you go to sportsresearch.com and use the code GRACE at checkout right now, you'll get 20% off your order. That's 20% off site-wide at sportsresearch.com with code GRACE at checkout. I've done some sweating just reading this ad read. I appreciate so much your Playboy article.
Thanks.
You're fully dressed and it's just very thoughtful and tasteful and it's not retouched and it's just very cool. Were you surprised that they agreed to all of these ideas?
No, because I'm lucky that I'm in a position of power now where I just don't do anything unless I get my own way. Yeah. Sound like a bit of an asshole, but it's true. So I was like, I will, I think what you're doing with this magazine is really cool. I will agree to do the interview and the photo shoot if I can shoot it my way. Yeah. No Photoshop in some suits that I have, and just very natural and like a man, and where nothing is showing, nothing's tight, nothing's making me feel self-conscious. I just want to be comfortable and shot like a guy. And also I want to guest edit the entire issue. And they were so cool about it. And I had such an amazing experience picking all of my favorite creators and writers. And Ashley C. Ford did the interview and Quinta B's in it. And
love Quinta.
Sir Patrick Stewart's randomly in it.
What?
Yeah. Just my brain was downloaded onto Playboy, and we got to create this wonderful issue about free speech.
That's incredible. What an amazing opportunity.
Yeah.
And also just like what a powerful message to have Playboy and this go hand in hand.
I think so. I think we're all about progress, not perfection. I sure as shit am, because I'm always in progress. That's why I call myself a feminist in progress. And I think that they were super problematic, and I think what they've done with their brand post Hugh passing away is just so inspiring and interesting. The conversations they have, the articles, the fact that they let me I got to choose my own playmate, and I chose a young woman who has one leg. And so they have incorporating disability and
that's amazing.
Fat positivity and trans positivity in this new wave of Playboy. So
cool. Very cool. What a great opportunity.
Thanks.
Okay, before we get into these Twitter questions, I'm going to ask you the two questions I ask every single guest that is on the podcast. The first is, who, alive or dead, would you most want to throw cold spaghetti at?
I mean, currently Boris Johnson.
Okay.
The leader of my country.
For
mishandling corona so horrendously and putting loads of businesses and people in jeopardy and the safety of our country in totality, and his stupid fucking theory on herd immunity. So I want to throw cold spaghetti at Boris Johnson.
That's good. And you could still maintain some social distance while doing that.
Exactly.
Okay, the other question is to tell us your worst pants shitting story or close call, but you can only use 3 words or 3 small phrases. So mine is college, jogging, front lawn.
Okay, mine is...
Oh, I like that you have one immediately.
Oh God, so only 3 words or 3 phrases?
3 words or 3 small phrases or some combination.
Okay, fine. I'm going to try. Okay, so shat all over the road for 2 hours, ran home naked.
Oh my, this sounds like the start of a really fun, like, female empowering movie.
There was nothing empowering about that situation.
It was only degrading.
Yeah.
Well, great.
It was also only a couple of years ago.
Okay. You continue to be relatable.
Oh, God. Again, nothing relatable about that story. Ran home in America. Pussy out. Covered in my own shit.
Wow. Again, something that builds your character to a point that the small shit won't, for lack of a better word, affect you as much.
Yeah, it was a great perspective giver.
Yeah, you've been through it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into these Twitter questions. Someone wants to know, what is a product or cause that you wish celebrities would use their platform to promote?
I know what I don't want them to promote. Climate change.
Yeah.
We should all be talking about climate change all the fucking time.
Yeah.
We should use all of our interviews to talk about mental health and climate change. But right now we're in an emergency.
Yeah. Yeah.
I honestly can't believe that it isn't spoken about more.
Yeah. I don't know how or why, and I'm worried that it gets pushed aside because the focus shifts to something else.
Well, also they keep taking their private jets, so they're afraid of being called out for their blatant hypocrisy.
Yeah.
But also, I guess there's that new wave of people over the last 4 years being like, shut up, celebrities, we don't want to hear your opinions. It's like, you hired a reality TV star as your president.
Yeah.
That's like, you do care about what celebrities think.
Yeah.
Because there's a celebrity in the fucking White House.
Yeah. It's absolutely true.
So it's so bizarre. So yeah, the environment.
Okay. Someone says you lose a lot of anonymity when you're famous. Does becoming famous so quickly feel like a shock to your system?
Yes, it does. Especially if you are an introvert who never wanted to be famous or wanted to be in this industry. I sort of fell into this industry. So it definitely felt very invasive and cumbersome. But the first time around when I became famous just in England, it was much worse because I was pretending to be someone that I wasn't. Now that I am being completely myself all the time and I turn up covered in food or that looks like I'm covered in cum, I swear it's not cum. It's
Either
just,
way,
it's
it looks
just yogurt.
great.
This is really dirty. I haven't bathed in like a week.
No, you're doing quarantine correctly. I showered this morning because of this. Like, I haven't showered the entirety of the week.
Well, that's great. But I guess now that I don't really feel I have anything to hide, it feels less invasive. But it's definitely strange to, especially to have your looks scrutinized. That's really weird.
Constantly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
obsessively.
And especially, do you find that now that you're speaking out, you know, positively about bodies, that there's more scrutiny on you physically, or do you find...
No one dares. The media don't dare because I'm so fucking annoying. My full, like, not my full nipple, but some of my nipple was out in every single photograph at the Emmys. No one mentioned it.
Really?
No one would dare fuck with me.
But that's kind of nice to have a boundary now.
She's out, just peeking over the top, just having her moment in every 100% of the Emmys photograph.
Let her do it. I think this might be purposeful.
Yeah. She's making a political statement.
Yeah, she's baiting us.
Yeah. So no, I don't. And also people know I don't care about their opinion on my looks.
Yeah, that is interesting, right? So that you've taken your power back in a way. And so people now have no need to try and cut you down. That's so strange how that works. I mean, it's nice that they don't attack you anymore, scrutinize, but at the same time, it takes you having to like stand up for yourself over and over again to get them to back off.
Exactly.
Oof. Okay, given all the philosophy and morals underlying the writing of The Good Place, what idea did the show present that has stuck with you the most?
The idea... There are two. The bigger, more philosophical one is just the clever underlying message of The Good Place, which couldn't be more important right now, which is that you take people from different walks of life, from different backgrounds, with very different personalities, different interests, and different traumas. And the only way that they can all get to a better place is if they put their differences aside and work together. And I think that is an amazing analogy for what the world needs to do, is that in this moment where we're being so politically divided and turned against each other, and the blame is constantly being shifted amongst us rather than at the powers that be, we need to put our differences aside and stop with the Olympics, the hate Olympics that are going on right now, and the oppression Olympics and this, that, and the other. We need to be able to work together, and we need to figure this out, because the system that's supposed to protect us is the one that is hurting us. So we're going to have to do this ourselves. Yeah. And then also just Tahani's obsession with other people liking her was an extra reminder for me that if I care about other people's opinions, I'll probably end up in hell. So if I'm going to hell, I'm going on my own fucking terms. And so that pushed me further to not care about other people's approval.
That must have been oddly therapeutic then, playing this part and being able to see the dissimilar aspects of it, or to see like the actual like repercussions played out in this fantasy world. Yeah. That's very cool in a way. Which moments or reactions give you the feeling that what you're doing is inspiring and changing people's lives? I'm sure.
Say that again?
Which moments or reactions? I'm assuming they mean like when people reach out to you or they react to something that you've said or work that you've created. Which ones give you the feeling that what you're doing is inspiring?
I think I get stopped by women every day, and it's never a conversation about anything other than their eating disorder or how they've learned to come to terms with their rape. And so I have very, very, very meaningful conversations with complete strangers where they tell me their secrets. And a girl said to me in a supermarket recently, I started eating again because of you. Wow. And so she hadn't been eating for years. She was so thin and was struggling with anorexia. And she burst into tears, and we just had a pre-isolation hug. Oh. When you could still touch strangers. Yeah. And I guess that's the thing. Yeah. We get a lot of letters. I get a lot of letters, and that's nice. But I still don't feel like any of my work is done. There's so much to do. And also it's just mostly what it is rather than a reminder that I'm inspiring, it's a reminder of like how fucked this world is. Yeah. And how young some of these girls are, really messes with my head.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, oh no, you shouldn't be thinking about this at all.
Right. You're too young. There's so many things you're missing out on right now by being so imprisoned in your own thought
How
clouds.
are you as damaged by 13 as I was by the age of 25?
Yeah.
It's because I grew up on the internet. So yeah, but I guess that's a really nice part of what I do.
That's great. And I think that's so helpful for young women to be able to see that in you, even though there's, you know, a 10 plus year age gap, there's still like such relatability. What are some things that you miss about living in the UK?
Oh, well, I miss the sweet stuff, obviously. I miss our TV because I think we have wonderful television, and I miss my friends. All my friends, I'd say 95% of my friends are people that I met at the age of 19.
Really?
Before I was in this industry. And so those are the people that I really, really miss.
And they're all still in the UK?
Not all of them. I've slowly but surely dragged everyone to Los Angeles. So I'm managing like 2 friends a year. I'm managing to get them into the country to come over here and work with me.
It's a long plan, a long con.
Oh yeah, I'm in the long game. But I love America and I want to live here for many years. And I just got my green card. So
congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And so I'm happy here, but I'm going to need to find a way to combine both worlds.
Slowly have more guest rooms in your house and slowly lower them over.
Also, afternoon tea. Have you ever had British afternoon tea?
I have not.
It is fucking unbelievable. I don't know what it is
Really?
about a crustless, tiny sandwich that just changes your day. It's only got cucumber and butter in it, and it's just the greatest thing that's happened. It's like a mini orgasm inside your mouth.
I understand philosophically the joy it can bring. It is, there's something very dainty and delightful about it.
Oh, you just feel like a lucky giant with your tiny sandwich in your hand.
Someone wants to know your favorite Taylor Swift song.
My favorite Taylor Swift song. Oh God, I don't know. What's my favorite Taylor Swift song? I think that new song, If I Was the Man, I'd Be the Man, is really cool.
Oh, yeah. Her prosthetics in that music video were pretty incredible.
Oh, yeah, they were amazing. I also really liked Shake It Off.
Yeah.
That's my favorite Taylor Swift song.
It's a classic. It's great.
I love that song.
She writes bops.
Yeah.
You can't deny that. Would you rather sweat sunscreen or not be able to tell the difference between a muffin and a baby?
I'd rather sweat sunscreen because I'd eat that baby. That baby's getting eat.
Yeah, if you took the latter, it would create terrible social situations.
Yeah.
But sweating sunscreen.
I fucking love muffins. Like, it's just super dangerous.
That will be very problematic for you. Okay,
yeah.
so easy decision.
Yeah.
What is your favorite thing to do on a rainy day?
I just want to be the big or little spoon with my boyfriend. I don't mean that sexually. I just mean in a sort of like a clothes on spoon, watching Netflix with him.
Oh, that's very nice. There's something very safe and comforting. What's been the harshest thing someone has ever said to you online?
This fucking bitch online started a rumor that I have Munchausen's.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, she pieced together like all these interviews of mine over the last 11 years and put them in this weird order and took things completely out of context. There was a point where she took 2 different car accidents that I had, claimed that they were the same car accident, and my 2 stories about them were about the same one accident, which makes me look like a complete...
That you're just telling
or
lies.
like a psychotic liar, yeah. But they're 2 different car accidents, 13 years apart. Just an ableist asshole who started this rumor that because the internet hadn't had any shit on me, the internet just ran with because they love a conspiracy theory. I mean, look at Oprah at the moment.
Yeah.
Oprah had to address that theory. I no longer feel bad for myself after I saw what Oprah got fucking accused
unreal.
of. And Tom Hanks is now being accused of stuff in like Pizzagate. You're just like, it's just mad. So, but that one hurt because I've been sick my whole life. And so to have my health, my physical health and my mental health attacked like that, but also to know how much that affected other people with invisible disabilities and also to watch Munchausen's become a punchline. It's like, that's a serious illness.
Yeah.
People have that. People have to live with people who have that. It's really scary.
Yeah.
And so it's not funny. It's not a joke. So that was the one thing that that's the only thing that has ever managed to hurt my feelings. But that's because it like hurt the kid that didn't know if they were going to survive to be an adult.
Right. Ugh, I'm sorry. That's awful.
No, it's all right. I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, so we look healthy on the outside, but we are incredibly accident prone, incredibly injury prone. So it's the same thing. And we are incredibly sick.
Yeah.
It's just
and
a
you've had
chronic
this since
disability.
you were a child?
I was born with it, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and there's so many invisible diseases that so many people, have. It's just, the boxes you in on how you're able to talk about it because you're begging people to believe you.
I know, and it's really stressful. And even doctors don't believe some people. I'm really lucky. I got diagnosed super young, so I've always had people believe me. But oh my God.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So that was the one thing that I was like, oh, fuck you to the internet and to that woman.
Yeah. Well, good. Stand your ground. I mean, and also you're standing up for so many other people that experience the same things, that face the same discrimination in their actual, physicality.
It's also so dumb. Like, what am I doing? What are people like me doing?
Also, what is this woman doing?
What are you taking down here? Someone who, she's stopping the teenagers from taking the laxatives. Got to take this bitch down. She's fighting for women's rights. Let's take her down. We need to expose this bitch. Oh no, she's making people feel less bad about their suicidal thoughts or their mental health problems.
Keeping teenagers from building traumatic emotional scars that they'll carry for the rest of their lives.
Lifting back the curtain on the lies of Hollywood. Take her down. Shoot her.
Enough is enough.
So fucking stupid.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's so, that's the classic internet of someone lights a piece of grass on fire and then a wildfire just starts because of it. And you're like, I didn't ask for this.
I just saw it going around on the internet and I was like, Jesus Christ.
Well, in line with that, someone wants to know, someone says that she has the same genetic disease, and she'd like to hear about how you deal with a demanding schedule as well as a demanding body.
It's fucking hard.
Yeah.
And you have to work twice as hard as everyone else just to get out of bed in the morning. And I have to put my legs up against walls throughout the day because my legs swell.
Okay.
By about 11 a.m., the swelling starts every single day, whether I'm on heels or not. And you have to be very, very, very protective. So I won't do action films or I won't do action sequences even. I don't play any contact sports. I don't work out. I just walk. That's all I can do is just walk gently.
Wow.
Otherwise I'll dislocate something or get hurt.
Right.
My recovery time is 3 times longer than a normal person.
Jeez.
So you have to treat yourself with cotton wool and you have to not be mad at your body. You have to thank your body for everything it's doing in spite of the Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and you have to be honest with yourself about your limitations because if you try and push past or put a brave face on, you will be punished so badly later on.
Yeah.
So it is hard and you just have to think of yourself as a legend every day for getting out of bed.
That's great. I mean, that is all you can do. And I feel like you have a lot of those kind of messages on iWay, just reminding people to thank their bodies for the things you're able to do.
Well, we're deliberately never taught to feel grateful about anything that we have. Otherwise, we'll stop buying stuff. We'll stop consuming. Yeah. As soon as we think we have enough, we'll stop buying.
Right. As soon as we think we don't need to fix something, then what do we need anything for? Is Kristen Bell a good kisser?
I didn't kiss her.
Oh, okay. I guess
I
Sophie
no
just
idea.
assumes that maybe behind the scenes. Okay. Paragon of Androgyny wants to know, describe your ideal role either in a series or on big screen, and what message would you want that character to send?
Oh, I just want to be in anything that Phoebe Waller-Bridge writes.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, just any of her next observational comedies I would love to be in. And I just want to continue being a South Asian who doesn't have to play any South Asian stereotypes.
Oh, yeah?
I just want to keep breaking new ground for South Asians. And I loved that Tahani got to play the sort of sex symbol type-ish figure.
Yeah.
Because normally you don't see a South Asian in that role. That's why I'm so happy for Kumail.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. I
His
love
body
that he's
looks
a
amazing.
thirst trap on the internet. And it's just like, I've not in my lifetime seen a South Asian man.
It's amazing.
Held up as doing the photo shoots in Men's Health as Wolverine. It meant so much to me. I was like, shit, we've never seen a superhero who's an Indian man. We've never seen a sex symbol who's an Indian man, or Pakistani man, sorry. And so that was really That's really cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. Except your family or friends, who, past or present, would you most like to be in quarantine with?
Oh, so except for my family and friends.
Yeah, so no family or friends.
Yeah,
who,
yeah.
past or present, would you most like to be in quarantine with?
Let me think. This is a good question. It's such a joyous, good question. God, there's so many people.
I like that you're taking this very seriously.
This is a contract. This is going to be set in stone.
This will happen.
I think it's Joan Rivers, and I know she was a massive bitch, but I don't care.
No, I think you guys would
so
have
funny.
a blast
It's
together.
You know what? Even more than Joan Rivers. Oh God, it's a very good tie between Joan Rivers and Wanda Sykes. Those are two of my favorite women. But seeing as Wanda Sykes is alive, I'm more likely to be able to do this with me. I would quarantine with Wanda Sykes any day of the fucking week.
Amazing.
There's nothing that woman does that doesn't make me more and more in love with her.
I feel like this could be a web series that happens during the actual quarantine.
Oh my God.
Thank you so much for being here. This was so fun. Before we wrap up completely, every guest that's on the podcast gets a personalized fortune cookie from us to you.
Cool.
And you can open it. You don't have to eat it, obviously.
Oh, it has got a fortune. I thought it was Fortune's cookie. I was like, you bitch.
That's our fun prank.
Okay. Thank you for being a guest editor for Playboy. As to really give evidence the lie, I read it for the articles.
Yep. You're bringing it back. We're allowed to say that genuinely now.
Yay.
Thank you. Where can people find the podcast and everything that you're working on if they don't already know?
You can find the podcast on Earwolf. It's on Stitcher. It's on Apple. It's on Spotify. It's wherever you get your bloody podcasts. And we start April 3rd.
Amazing. And you're just your name on Twitter, everything, right?
My name, Jameela Jamil on Twitter. My name, Jameela Jamil Official on Instagram because a 6-year-old boy from Syria took my name. But that's what I get for joining Instagram in 2016.
There you go.
Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Thank you again so much. This was so fun. And we'll see you guys next time on another episode of Not Too Deep. Goodbye.
Too deep, too deep, too deep, not too deep with Grace Helbig.
Not Too Deep is a production of Grace Helbig Incorporated, producer Melissa D. Montz, edited by Shireen Lani Yunus, post-production sound by Chris Henry, and an extra special thanks to Flula for the theme music. BetterHelp Online Counseling offers licensed counselors who specialize in issues including depression, anxiety, complicated relationships, grief, trauma, and more. You can schedule secure video or phone sessions with your therapist, plus securely exchange unlimited messages. Get professional help when you want it, wherever it's most convenient. And you beautiful listeners will get 10% off your first month with the discount code GRACE. That's betterhelp.com/grace.